Jenny. Today I'm going to talk to you about how your brain cells talk to each other. Do you have any idea on how cells communicate?
They use a cell phone?
That's a good answer, but that's not quite right. Let's start from the beginning. Our body is made up of millions of tiny cells. There are different kinds of cells in different parts of your body.
Wow, how can that many cells fit in my body?
Well, it's actually quite cool, Jenny. These cells are so small, it's like comparing the size of a single grain of sand to a whole beach.
Whoa.
In the brain, you have special brain cells. When you use your brain to think about things, cells have to talk to each other. One cell talks to its neighbor cell, while the other cell just listens.
I don't really understand.
Let's think about when you play catch with your friends. You throw the ball through the air so that your friend can catch it in their mitt. Once your friend catches the ball, they can throw it to another friend, and then to another friend. And the ball gets passed on from one friend to another. That's how brain cells talk.
Oh, I think I get it now.
Hi, Penny. Today I want to talk to you about neurotransmitter release.
Okay.
Do you know what neurons are?
Yeah, there's cells in the brain, right?
Exactly. And these individual neurons communicate information between each other through the movement of chemicals across a small gap called a synapse.
Oh, so what are these chemicals and how do they work?
These chemicals are called neurotransmitters and flow from the presynaptic terminal of one neuron across the synapse to the receptor sites on the next neuron. If the neurotransmitter is accepted at the receptor site, it can increase or decrease the likelihood of the signal continuing on to the following neurons. In this way, neurons pass along information from synapse to synapse via neurotransmitter release.
Hey Benny, let me ask you a question before we get going. Do you know anything about neurotransmitter release?
Not really. I know that the cells in the brain are called neurons, but that's about it.
That's a good place to start. Neurons are the cells in the brain that communicate with each other through electrochemical signals. A neuron consists of a receiving end and an output end. Dendrites are at the receiving end and look like branches on a tree. The soma is the neuron body, and the axon is the long part of the neuron down which a signal travels toward the output end. Signals travel through neurons by passing through the dendrites on the receiving end to the axon on the output end. Neurons contain vesicles at the end of their axons that enclose particles called neurotransmitters. These neurotransmitters act to transmit excitatory or inhibitory signals between neurons. Examples of neurotransmitters are amino acids like glutamate or glycine and other molecules like acetylcholine and GABA.
This is a lot of information, and I'm not sure if I'm following along.
Okay, let me get a friend to see if she can help explain it more. Here she is now.
Hi, so when a neuron is excited by a stimulus, it sends a signal to the next neuron after it. To do this, the excited neuron carries an electrical charge called an action potential down its axon. This activates channels that are embedded in the cell membrane near the end of the axon. Once the action potential reaches the axon terminal to make it depolarized, the calcium ions travel from the extracellular space through these open channels and into the neuron. This presence of calcium ions in the axon terminal in turn causes vesicles to move towards the cell membrane, fuse with it, and release neurotransmitters outside. These neurotransmitters then diffuse across the synaptic cleft.
I'm sorry, but what is the synaptic cleft?
The synaptic cleft is the space in between the axon of the vesicle-releasing neuron and the dendrites of the receiving neuron. Depending on what type of neurotransmitter is involved, the second neuron will be excited and continue propagating the signal, or inhibit and stop the signal. These chain of events continue until the signal has reached its destination.
Wow, thank you for explaining all of that to me. I think I'll take a neuroscience class next quarter.